On history, I'm Jamie. I'm a social studies teacher. I also got my doctorate in American Studies, and I write some local history blogs called Wandering in York County and Witnessing York.
And I'm Dami, and I'm a Third Circuit Court of Appeals librarian, and I run the Preserving the History of Newburytown Facebook page.
So today we're going to talk about the Susquehanna Trail, and we're going to go through 5 different myths of the trail. So to start, York County, we are this artery for transportation. Our geography has made us this major transportation hub, and so the trail was and then still is an integral part of our community.
Okay, so number 1, true or false? The road called the Susquehanna Trail in southern York County is different from the old trail in northern York County.
And the answer is
dun, 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 dun.
False. They are the exact same thing. So here are the different names for the roads. Again, same road that goes through York County. Special shout out to Stephen Smith, who made where we got a lot of this information from, including the maps that you see there. But the Susquehanna Trail has changed from George Street to Main Street the whole way down to the York Road.
And then there's a ton of different businesses with the name Old Trail in the name. So we have the Old Trail Variety Store, we have the pub on the trail, and then the farther south you get, this is close to the city, and then we're going to go to the hospital, and then we're down in Shrewsbury now. So you can see 83s in there because I-83 goes along with the Old Trail. Yeah. True or false, number 2, the Susquehanna Trail is marketed as an easy way to travel from Niagara Falls to Washington, D.C.
And the answer is true. Absolutely. So officially, the trail opened in 1924, and it was called this ribbon of concrete. And it went the whole way from New York down to our nation's capital. And so for a number of years, they worked on improving the intersection, widening, patching, and straightening roads, and that lasted for about 6 years. So this started because of the Good Roads movement, and that was from the 1870s to 1920s. York County, this time period before we built the old trail, was dirt and gravel roads. It was super muddy in the winter, dusty in the summer. Travel was very difficult, expensive, and slow. And so bicyclist organizations and farmers got together and said, why don't we work on improving the roads? So their whole goal was to get funding from the state and the federal so then they can gain access to the cities.
I love that it was bicyclists.
Yeah, right? I know.
So that leads us to number 3, true or false. The Susquehanna Trail in York County followed an old Indian trail known as the Susquehanna Path.
And false. No, that is not true at all. So the York County section of the Susquehanna Trail does not follow any known Native American paths. So along the river north through Harrisburg, that is known as the Susquehanna Path, and that does follow Native American trails, but not the ones through York County.
Makes sense. Number 4, true or false? York County took so long to build the trail that Gettysburg built their own version.
Correct answer is true. Yes.
Sad but true.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, after 5 years, York County made no improvements. And you can see there in this picture that a 1923 rainstorm caused 100 motorists to get stuck in the mud. People were really ticked off. And it was only York County out of all throughout the whole way to New York down to Washington, D.C. that wasn't prioritizing the trail. This angered people in Williamsport. And so there was some rekindling to try to get Gettysburg to bypass York.
And then one of my favorite memes, the Pennsylvania State flower in full bloom. I think we're all really used to seeing this.
Pennsylvania roads. In Gettysburg, because it took us so long, there were people who decided that they were going to create these fake signs of the Susquehanna Trail to divert people from York to go to the Gettysburg. And the whole idea was to get people to go to their businesses and establishments and just trying to get Gettysburg back on the map. The State Department actually sent them official letters and said, you have to remove these signs. People didn't listen, and so the state had to come through and physically remove the signs.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So how did York County get this road anyway? So in 1918, there were a lot of different considerations when we were thinking about going from Gettysburg or to York. And so they looked at engineers' concerns, grades, the costs, but then also the populations that were served. So ultimately, York County did beat Gettysburg because of our economy, our bustling population, but then also our military safeguarding. So if you look, we're a direct route from the nation's capital to New York, 100 miles. But then we also have the Allegheny Mountains that protect us. And then there was this great quote from an issue of the Gazette and Daily that said, the rich agricultural counties through which it passes and the numerous industrial towns and cities it reaches are capable of supporting the large numbers of people. So we just had the people.
Gettysburg already had the Battle of Gettysburg. They have their claim to fame. Give
us
have
something.
Yeah, come on. And then number 5, true or false, the sycamore trees in southern York County are a living memorial to World War I veterans.
Correct answer is true.
So in the 1920s, there was a group of mothers for veterans that planted 400 sycamore trees in a 13-mile stretch from Jacobus down to the Maryland line. And that was their living memorial to World War I veterans. And then this is just a really beautiful picture of a farm along the Susquehanna Trail.
Yep. And then you can see the sycamores in the background.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then thankfully, after a lot of the trees died or were taken down, a group got together in 2018 and started replanting the trees and revitalizing the memorial for veterans. So thank you guys for our first 5-minute video, our little true and false game. You can tune in to see our actual video. That's going to be about 20 minutes to 30 minutes long. And then just keep following us on Hometown History. Can't wait to see you.
Bye. Hey.